Good evening, everybody. We'd like to welcome you to the Board of Select Persons meeting for Tuesday, September 3rd at 7 p.m.
Excuse me, folks. We're starting the meeting.
We paid them.
We'll have a call to order and pledge of allegiance, recognition of visitors for items not on the agenda, reports of managers and financial, and then new business, we'll have MSW hauling RFP results, fee schedule to set a public hearing, broadband committee formation, CDC recommended payable, regular payables, and any other business. And with that, if we could do the pledge of allegiance, please.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, I'd like to welcome everybody that's here this evening. Thank you for coming. So do we want to, under recognition of visitors for items not on the agenda, have Jane come up? Jane, you want to come up to the table? So Jane is here this evening to volunteer to be part of the library committee. Good evening.
Good evening, and yes, I am. I've seen to this from the beginning, and I want to continue to work on it. And that's what I have to say about that.
Excellent. Questions, comments, anybody?
Oh, thank you for stepping forward. There's 3 vacancies in total, so there'll be 2 vacancies.
Maybe
Thank you
we
for
can
stepping forward.
talk Clara into taking one.
We would welcome that.
Just for those that don't know a little bit of your background, Jane, if you could just fill us in.
I'm a former member of the select board, and in my past life, I was an optometrist, so I helped people read. So obviously, libraries are important to me.
And were you a member of the board before?
I was on the board of trustees before the charter changed,
You were, okay.
when it was elected and not appointed.
That's what I thought, thank you.
Excellent. Take a motion.
I move that we appoint Jane Pentheny to the library committee, thank you, for a term to end.
June 30th, 2027.
Yeah, that's what I said.
And a second, please.
Second.
Thank you.
John DeSantis.
Yes.
Stan Tettenman.
Yes.
Steve Robinson.
Yes.
Marianne Hawks.
Yes.
Lisa Elby.
Yes.
With a vote of 5-0, you have appointed Jane Pentheny as a library committee member with a term to expire June 30th, 2027.
Thank you, everyone, and while I'm sitting here, I have an announcement to make. I don't know if you all noticed that no one had stepped forward to become a candidate for the county commissioner seat for District 6, which includes Poland, Mechanic Falls, and South Auburn. And I have become a declared write-in candidate for that position, and I would greatly appreciate you writing me in for that position. I think it's to Poland's benefit to have someone there who cares about Poland and not just Auburn and not just Mechanic Falls. I care about all of them, but I have a soft spot in my heart for our town.
Great, thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Jane.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great evening. Other things.
So I think we're okay to move forward.
Okay. Well, then let's move on to manager's report on page 2, please.
Okay, the manager's report for 3 September is asked at the 20 August Select Board meeting. 2 questions. Can Poland commit taxes again should the RSU budget pass at a lower number? The town attorney stated that we could not do that, and Minot is not planning to commit taxes again. That was a report we had. The county tax bill, the county commissioner reports the county will invoice our next year tax bill quarterly. RSU budget referendum with the town clerk, deputy town manager. We will meet with Minot and Mechanic Falls to review the election timeline and requirements should the upcoming RSU budget referendum fail, so we can all be prepared for that. Lewiston Auburn Economic Growth Council attended that meeting, provided an airport update, and discussed the regional airport for basically Androscoggin County and how that might be improved. The MMA Legislative Policy Committee, we reviewed the legislative agenda. Of note, we discussed the EPS formula, and MMA is going to provide comment. There's apparently a lot of interest in adjusting that this year, so we'll see where that goes. The Maine Waste to Energy Executive Council attended that meeting, and we discussed property insurance, which sounds boring, but it's hard to get this year. We're looking at a strategy to ensure long-term coverage. We also looked at ways to attract and retain employees, pay raise and retention bonus. They have 3 shifts there. There's a couple of vacancies on one shift, and if we lose a few more employees, we'd be in extremis. So we're looking hard at how we can retain the great folks that work there and attract some new ones. Pardon me. The MMA Executive Committee, I was elected to a 3-year term for that. The Transfer Station Improvement Project, Trillium Engineering submitted the application package for the September 24th Planning Board meeting, so that's moving forward. The stormwater system that will be installed out behind the library and the rec building, the various concrete elements ordered. We expect to get those in late September. Installation will start shortly after that. And pending any questions, that's the manager report.
Questions, comments?
Just like to thank you for getting in touch with the county for doing that, to get us on a quarterly basis.
Yeah, they were
We would have
great.
thought about doing that years ago.
Yeah, we got back about 20 minutes.
That was great. That might as well be sitting in our coffers or any interest, as opposed to in their coffers. You get one, $1,000.
Yeah.
Okay, move on to financials then.
Okay, the financial report, we're 17.31% through the year. Of note on the cover page here, the total that we have saved due to our solar power is just over $29,000. Our finance director's been reviewing those bills, and we weren't counting one portion of it. So we credited that to that account, and that's some good news there. The revenue, we're doing okay there. Of note, motor vehicle excise is slightly above our percent for the year, just over 20%. So we are doing fine there. I'm going to brief the rest of the expenses from the biweekly expense report summary. If you look at top general expenses are at 52%. That's because we pay the county bill in full, but that'll be a little different next year. Going down, beach maintenance is at 56, almost 57%, but why is that? Because it's the summer, and that's when we spend that money. Conservation, we've spent 50. We've given the money to, I think it's the Conservation Commission, just haven't got the bill for the Oxford Dam yet. General assistance, we're helping people. Just moving down to in public safety, law enforcement, that's high because we paid made a contract payment. Animal control, the same thing. And but other than that, we're on track and no issues with expenses. Pending any questions, that's the financial report.
I'll entertain a motion.
Move that we accept the financial reports as presented.
Second. Thank you, John. Comments, questions?
Tom
Hearing none.
DeSantis,
Yes.
Stan Tentman,
Yes.
Steve Robinson,
Yes.
Mary Ann Hawks.
Yes.
Lisa Elby.
Yes.
With a vote of 5-0, you have approved financial reports as presented.
Okay, the next item on our agenda is MSW hauling RFP results on page 20.
I gotta figure out how to get there. Hey, there we go. So we opened the bids Thursday, the 29th. You can see the 4 bids that we received there. We recommend that we award the bid to Almighty Waste. The lowest bid had a few stipulations, and one would be very hard to comply with, and that was to have the bins ready in the field area when they come to pick them up. That way, in this way, Almighty will just hook them up and transport from wherever they happen to be. If our truck was to move the bins in and out of order, or the one person we have, which is Marvin, who can move the bins, is on vacation, this means that those bins are full and not in the field and wouldn't be hauled. That would be a real inconvenience, so we recommend awarding the contract to Almighty Waste.
We've had them in the past.
We did.
And who's currently, Casella has it now?
Corcoran Environmental Services.
Oh, they didn't bid again?
No, they did not bid. And Almighty Waste is here in the person of Mr. Scott Furland.
I'll entertain a motion.
I move that we accept the bid from Almighty Waste for our MSW hauling.
Second it.
Thank you. Other discussion? Obviously, the 2 hauls in doing the things, we've always kept it with the same carrier. It didn't matter if it was our recycling that we're hauling or our.
Yeah, it makes sense to have the same company do it, because they've got to come in the gate. The recycling is a lot lower tonnage per year, less hauls, and I don't think anyone would bid on that single, that single part of the contract.
Any other comments or questions? If not, we can do a vote.
John DeSantis.
Yes.
Stan Tetman.
Yes.
Steve Robinson.
Yes.
Mary Ann Hawks.
Yes.
Lisa Elby.
Yes.
With a vote of 5-0, you have awarded the MSW hauling bid to Almighty Waste in the amount of $237 and $267 per haul. And Scott,
Yeah.
if you can send us a contract over, and we can get it signed and get it back to you.
Yeah, sure.
Awesome.
What's the term? How long?
1 year, with automatic renewal unless you hear from us beforehand.
Great, thanks. Next item is a fee schedule to set our public hearing for fee schedule.
So there's one thing we need to update on there, and that's what we get charged for disposing of mattresses. Right now, it's $10, it needs to be $25. That's our cost at the waste energy plant, and I just didn't catch it when we reviewed it last time. So I'd like to get that updated so we can make those numbers work in our budget.
So I'll entertain a motion to schedule, at our meeting on the 17th, a public hearing for our fee schedule.
So moved.
Thank you. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Thank you.
John DeSantis.
Yes.
Stan Tetman.
Yes.
Steve Robinson.
Yes.
Mary Ann Hawks.
Yes.
Lisa Elby.
Yes.
With a vote 5-0, you have scheduled a public hearing for the fee schedule on September 17th at 7 p.m.
The next item is broadband committee formation. I'll let you guys
Sure.
speak.
So we met last week. It was a really productive meeting. 3 applicants appeared at that meeting, very strong, well-qualified candidates. I agree that we should move forward and go ahead and form the committee with the 4 members presented here. The next meeting will be on the 18th, and they plan to meet twice a month for now, just to get things kind of going, with knowing that they can add more meetings if they have to. But I think the town's really excited, and I think we've got the right people to move the needle forward, so.
So are we going to, what size do we want to form the board at? I realize we have 4 members,
Yep.
but are we gonna say 5 and a couple of alternates? or what's
Yes,
the-
yeah, that's the
Okay.
proposal.
Do we need to do a motion to set that up, Nikki, and then do the people, or? how
You can do it all in one motion.
Okay. So that's the thought, is it'll be a 5-member board with 2 alternates. We have 4 people that are on our list this evening that we can nominate to the committee and get things rolling.
Yeah.
Yep.
Bring on other members as people come.
So these are folks from the meeting the other night who volunteered to be on, or there more people that wanted to be on? I wonder why we don't have a 5th one.
Yep, so, they just didn't appear to the meeting, so if they're still interested, I know Nikki's reached out.
Oh, okay.
It's not that we wouldn't consider them, it's just that they haven't stepped forward and confirmed, that they wanna be a part of this, so. And then I think, the plan is because, they're going to be, they'll be like this core team. We talked about, you know, kind of looking into the community to see if there's anyone with finance experience or even legal experience, because there'll be grant opportunities. We'll need a treasurer for this committee to keep track of finances once there's finances to track. And so those skills will be really useful going forward. So we have enough technical expertise to really see us through looking for some of these other skill sets. So some of the other members had some ideas of folks that they know of in the community, and so they've been reaching out and putting feelers out, and yeah.
I was looking at the applications, these folks certainly appear to be extremely well qualified.
Yes.
Yeah, they are. Yep. Yeah, more than qualified, actually.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
are you doing the motion, Stan?
Yeah, I make the motion that we appoint Chris McMahon, Colin Thorner, William Wolfkin, and Joanne Pino to the broadband committee.
Consisting of 5 members and 2 alternates.
Thank you, consisting of a total of 5 members, 2 alternates, and these terms will expire June 30th, 2027.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I second.
No, go ahead.
Great.
And we do have one member,
Can-
William Wolfkin, that's here. I don't want to put you on the spot, but if you want to say hi, you're welcome to, or if there's anything else you want to add.
Hold on. Hold on one second, can we also amend the motion to add Mary Ann Hawks as the board liaison to the committee?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
And you are
I'm William Wolfkin.
welcome. Thank you.
John DeSantis.
Thank
Yes.
you very much.
Stan Tetman,
Yes.
Steve Robinson,
Yes.
Mary Ann Hawks,
Yes.
Lisa Elby.
Yes.
With a vote 5-0, you have approved the formation of the broadband committee of 5 members, 2 alternates. You have approved to have Chris McMahon, Colin Thorner, William Wolfkin, and Joanna Pino, probably butchered her name and I am sorry, appointed with terms to expire June 30th, 2027, and Mary Ann Hawks as the liaison to the Board of Select Persons.
And I want to thank everybody that stepped forward. Mary Ann, everything for your help and support of this, and we look forward to what it can bring for the citizens of Poland.
Yep.
Yeah,
in the
it's
future.
going to be a real big advantage to us.
So William, you'll get a call from our town clerk when your oath is ready to come in and sign it, and you'll just have to meet up with her, but they'll give you a call and let you know when it's ready.
No problem.
Okay?
Thank you.
And the same for anybody else who might be watching. I
Yeah,
can't tell who's on.
I can't see it.
I'm not running it anymore. It's being ran from back there now, so.
And we can't officially call them the Geek Squad either, because it's taken, so we'll have to come up with something different.
All right, moving on to page 31, we have the CEDC recommended payable.
Yeah, good evening. Rob Dwyer from the CEDC. I brought Stacy along with me, chair, vice chair respectively. Appreciate the invite, Matt. So specifically, I guess first let me back up. Did anyone see the actual application for this? Did we get that out,
Yeah.
Nikki? Oh,
Yeah.
awesome.
Yep.
The application itself, that's kind of a new process for us at CEDC. It's certainly not 100% baked, but we are trying to formalize the procedure in terms of how folks and committee or organizations apply for special event funding. Obviously, this one is a particularly large one. It's our largest one of the year. And it is the largest single event for Poland. Typically, historically, between 1,500 and 2,000 people come, inside and outside of Poland, come to this event. I would like to hand it over to Stacy, though she has a lot more to say as it relates to this event. So I'll just pass it off. If that's all right? Yeah. Thank you, Stacy.
I'm gonna cheat, I'm gonna read a little bit, but the event is on September 28th from 10 to 3. It is advertised on Facebook, I believe it'll be on the news, WOXO radio will be advertising it as well. Flyers are all over the place. And it is, all proceeds are going this year to the Poland Spring Preservation Society to preserve, restore the 1893 State Building and the 1912 All Souls Chapter. And food is being hosted by the Fire Rescue, the Poland Food Pantry, and the Poland High School Project Graduation 2025 Grad Committee. So there'll be food, live entertainment, museum tours, makers market, trolley rides, and lots of kids' things to do. So save the date, and lots of notifications going out to community far and wide. So it should be a big event. I think Poland is starting to have year-round events, and I'm pretty excited about that, so.
Sounds like a great event.
It sounds like a great event,
Again.
so, again, yeah. it'll
And we
be-
got rained out last year.
And we
so-
are gonna use that word. So,
So I don't
Yeah.
think anybody actually said what the event is.
oh, right.
This is the Poland
This is
Heritage
Poland
Day.
Heritage
Very cool.
Days, yes, and the rest is for $5,000. There's contributors by Poland Water, the Poland Spring Resort itself gives contribution, and then contribution is being asked from the CEDC fund.
Have we funded this before?
We have annually
Yeah.
funded this event,
That's what I
yes.
thought.
Mhm.
Sounds
Any
peachy.
discussion?
Oh,
I'll entertain-
I had to throw in. Motion on now.
I'll entertain a motion to authorize that $5,000 be spent from the CDC's annual monies towards Heritage Day.
So moved.
Seconded.
Great, thank you.
John DeSantis.
Yes.
Stan Tatman.
yes.
Steve Robinson.
Yes.
Marianne Hawks.
Yes.
Lisa Elby.
Yes.
By a vote 5-0, you have approved the payable from CEDC to Image Inc. for $5,000 to help with Heritage Days. Once again, Heritage Days is at Poland Spring Inn, and it will be held September 28th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. It is free entry for everybody, and then you can go and see different vendors, different performances, things like that.
Bring your cash.
Yep.
Support local. Thank you.
If I could just make one alibi, you all should have received an invite. We're having an informal meeting, the CEDC on the 19th. I'd love to see all of you there to chat with us and help us set some goals that are in line with what we're all trying to row together to do.
John, will you be in the dunk tank?
Too short.
No, you're not.
It's over my head.
I was in it a few years.
It's over my head.
Nice try.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Looking forward to it.
Lots of money, good if you get up
Good point.
Okay, we're on to payables. Page 35.
Let me get to the page first. I make the motion that we pay our bills for fiscal year 2025 in the amount of $249,679.62.
Second now?
John DeSantis.
Yes.
Stan Tatman.
Yes.
Steve Robinson.
Yes.
Marianne Hawks.
Yes.
Lisa Elby.
Yes.
With a vote 5-0, you have approved the payables in the amount of $249,679.62.
Great, before we move on, is there anybody that didn't before but wishes to speak on any subject? Knowing that some people here weren't necessarily here for the scheduled events?
I think Claire jumped up to say she wanted to be on the library committee again.
We can talk about it later.
All right, if not, then John, any other business?
No, I'm good.
I'd just like to say that last week, I think it was, we had the fire installation tournament from the fire department up at the golf course. And we had I believe there was a full field there. It was a gorgeous day. The fire department did a great job in, getting things together. And, the Poland Spring Resort, the golf course, the pro up there, did a great job. And it was a wonderful time, great publicity for our town.
Great.
That's it.
Mary?
I don't have anything at this time.
Lisa?
I don't really have any updates. I just wanted to mention that, I think folks know that I'm liaison to the school board, and as well as most of us here have been attending meetings and informational updates. And if there's any questions that anybody has, please feel free to reach out to us, email or by attending here.
One quick reminder that the district meeting
Yeah,
is
I was gonna bring up
Thursday,
that the district meeting is Thursday night
6 p.m.
at 6 p.m. So that's
At the high
all three
school.
At the high
towns
school,
that come.
yep.
Registered voters will get a voting card, and they go through each of the articles, just like we used to have with an open town meeting forum. And people can make motions to reduce any of those articles as you come to them. Just like a town meeting, we're not authorized to increase any of those items. And whatever passes at that is the budget that we vote for in referendum on the 27th? 17th, sorry. I knew it had a 7th. I knew it had a 7th. So that's the process, and we certainly encourage all the townspeople to show up and ask questions, voice their opinions, cast their votes.
I also wanted to mention too that I know personally I've had a few people ask me to relay some questions, which I've happily done. The process of when you attend a school board meeting is you sign in and you write down the topic that you're going to speak to, and you have to stay to that topic. So you ask your question and then they follow up at a later meeting. I know I've had some folks ask me, well, did you question that? And it's not a conversation. It's a submit a question and get an answer down the line.
Yes, thank you.
A couple of things, the Historical Society is planning a farewell for Pat Moaning on September 11th. I believe it's going to start at 6. They were looking for a speaker to say a few words about Pat as he's leaving the Historical Society. You might know he's been a long-term president. I think he was treasurer. He served a number of roles. And quite honestly, he really made that Historical Society work. If you've ever been to one of his events, they sound kind of geeky and little off, but been to two that I can recall. One was a cemetery tour up at White Oak Hill Cemetery, which was fascinating. It's really the only person that was ever, until recently, murdered in Poland is buried. And then over at the Historical Society, they had a group of people that had were collecting metal, with those little metal detector things, and they pulled up just fascinating things from the area, coins from when the Republic was first founded, to all kinds of stuff like that. And they were there, and you could look at them. But those are just the kind of really neat things that Pat brought to that group. And I'm sad to see him go, but I can't go. I've got another commitment that night. And so looking for somebody that might be willing to say a few words in thanks to Pat.
Well, I'll be attending, but I could say all kinds of words, I just don't know what I could say. So I'm gonna attend, but yeah, I suppose.
Okay, if you want, maybe later in the week, we could have a chat on the
Yeah, yeah.
phone if you're willing to do that. And I
Yeah.
can help give you some ideas.
Yeah.
But
Is there
Pat's been a
anyone
great.
that knew Pat personally?
Can you say that again, please?
Anyone that knew Pat personally?
That's the challenge, because of course John is new and may not know him. I asked around a couple of people that I knew, and they aren't able to go, or they didn't have the level of knowledge that they felt comfortable talking.
Laura Brown from the
Okay.
Preservation Society.
Preservation Society may be able to, I think she worked with him quite often.
Let me ask her, and then if that doesn't work out, we'll regroup. But this isn't gonna take place until September 11th, so we gotta get our act together.
Like a week from tomorrow.
Did you say a time, Matt?
I didn't get a time in the email, but I bet you it's gonna start at 6. And the Historical Society is open tomorrow night from 6 to 8. The other thing I wanted to put out is the Senior Tax Assistance Program. We've had more applicants this year than ever before. The program has $15,000 in it. Our current budget or current total for what people would be receiving back is $15,920 with 6 applications outstanding. So we anticipate that's going to be maybe $17.5 grand total. Nikki and I talked about that earlier today, and the board does not have the authority to expend money above the 15 grand. So what that will mean is everybody will get a proportional amount. It's not going to be much less than their full amount. But we just want to let you know that's coming up. We may want to look at increasing that in next year's budget. But for obvious reasons, that's something that our seniors have made good use of this year, and I think this will make a difference to a few people. And the last thing I had is the Maine Municipal Association is going to have their annual meeting in the Augusta Civic Center in early October. They have a business meeting there, and they ask us to have an in-person person there to vote, and I'm going to be there anyway, so if you want to authorize me to vote for the town, I have a form here that if you say it's okay for Steve to sign, he can do that, and I'll cast a vote for the town.
Do we need a motion on that, or just a
Yes,
consensus?
please.
I don't think we need a motion,
Just-
just a consensus.
Consensus.
Okay,
Consensus.
consensus?
Yep.
And that's all I have, thank you. That was a lot.
Thank you, Matt. And we have consensus, I assume, right?
Yes.
Great.
Yes.
Nikki?
I've got nothing, because I'm assuming you're gonna take the last one.
I'm going to take the last one.
That's what I thought.
Can I put one more save the date out there? October 16th is the business-to-business meeting. We invited Cindy to host it on the Hill, but it is going to be also tied to thanking Norm and Cindy for their service on the CEDC, as well as all of the other committees that they've served over the years. So we would love all of you to save that date, and invitations will be coming out. It's a Wednesday, October 16th. Time's usually 5:36.
I was gonna say 5:30.
Something like that.
Do you know if it's gonna be at the
It's
inn
gonna
or
be
the
the
Water
inn.
Museum? or-
It's gonna be at the inn. So we let Cindy choose where she wanted to have it, and so it'll be at the inn. Yeah, thank you.
So which thing were you?
I was referring to the taxes and stuff, which
Oh.
I'm sure you're touching on.
Yeah, so I know there's been a lot of questions and things out there, and I think Matt spoke to it earlier in his manager's report. We are not authorized to be able to resend out new tax bills, even when we see that the numbers may be lower. And it doesn't make us happy, but that's the law, so we'll follow that. And as Matt noted, a lot of some of the communication that I saw, social media and email wise, was indicating the other towns were doing something, and the answer to that is no, they're not. Again, because they can't. I think that we have tried to figure out what exhaustions we can do that's in the best interest of all of the people in the town. And at this point in time, and open for discussion with the board, the thought is that whatever taxes we accumulate will be separated and accounted for and collect interest for all that it can be collected interest on, and be applied as a credit, much in the way that we do from our undesignated fund balance, that we would go and get that authorization to roll over and to reduce taxes in the next fiscal year by whatever that adds up to be, which is still unknown. I think that some of the numbers, and Nikki can quote me if I'm things in the ranges of what, if the current budget that's being asked, potentially asked for tomorrow night at the
Yep, so the current budget
district meeting.
tomorrow night is a little over 800,000 less that they're asking for. Poland's portion of that is about 517,000. So I did a quick calculation of what would the mill rate be with that new number. And when I did that calculation, it doesn't change Poland's mill rate too much. And I looked at just the real estate side of things versus personal property. I just looked at real estate. We have about 33, actually not about, we have exactly 53 real estate accounts. And of that, 2986 or 90% would receive, if we were to rebate or refund anybody, a check less than $90. So only 10% would receive a check over that, and a lot of those are businesses. Some are things. So when I looked at someone who's paying $11,000 in taxes, they would receive a check back for about $200. So we figured that it may be in the best interest of the town to sequester that money that we get in, put it in a separate account, get 4.5% interest on it, where we can grow that account by another $23,000. So next year, we can put $540,000 against the assessment once it comes to us. So that means after it's approved by voters and it comes to us before we send out tax bills, we would then deduct $540,000 from that when we ask to collect taxes from our taxpayers. So that's what we're looking at. When I did the thing just to make note, 28% of our accounts would actually receive less than $18 back in their pockets if we were to do any abatements or rebate checks. So we just thought our system has no way of doing them doing it itself, so they would all have to be hand done, and we would have to write checks to every one of these taxpayers, making sure we're paying the right person back that paid the taxes, and it's a very big process. So we thought the easiest way might be to hold on to that money and then just apply it towards next year's assessment that they give us.
Do we need any special permission, anything from us to do
No.
that?
No.
That's essentially what happens. It's just gonna be sequestered in
Okay.
special fund, pardon me, and we'll just leave that in there.
Yeah, right, it's gonna be separated from the normal revenues and expenditures of the town so that it can be always separate and always pass through. I
But
think
then
that's the
next year, in order to do that, then the voters have to approve using it?
Nope, it automatically gets deducted from the school assessment when it comes in. So the voters would do the same process that they do now, go to the district budget meeting, go through a vote. When we're ready to commit taxes, whatever was last approved at a district budget meeting for the school, and we get the assessment for, which is basically their bill to us, we would deduct $540,000 roughly from there, and then commit taxes using that number. That's $540,000 less than what they bill us for.
So ultimately, that $540,000 goes to the RSU 16
Yep,
at the end of the day.
but it would be towards next year's assessment and not
Right.
this year's. They wouldn't get it this year.
So the other open thing that we have, I think, on the table is we formally requested the RSU school board to reconsider the local funding formula. That is the formula used after essential program and services come from the state. So to put that in a little bit more real terms, the current budget that is passed, right now that we set the tax rate to, the EPS for Poland's contribution is $8,916,000. That's what the state's saying that we need to pay. That's 100% evaluation. There's no wiggle room around that. That's what the state says. Over and above that, to our debt service of totaling $15 million and 17,000, there's 412,000 plus of debt service for non-state funded school construction. There is 5,071,000 for additional local funds as part of the school budget to do their regular education and things that are over and above what the state minimum is, which is the EPS, which is about 21 million in rough numbers. Adult education at 130,000 and the capital improvement plan of 487,000. So what we are ultimately requesting is that roughly 6.1 million of that 15 million be done not by a 90% evaluation and 10% student count formula, to be done by a 100% student count formula across the three towns. We have approximately 46% of the students in Poland, so we'll still bear the greater portion of that. But Nikki did some math things behind, and again, without reading it here, she's probably calling it up on her phone to exactly what she said. But in rough terms, it would take our percentage from 67% to about 57% of the school bill. So we are always going to be the lion's share because the state mandates it under the EPS. Matt alluded to, maybe they're gonna change that formula a bit, in whatever terms, I had no idea, whatever, in doing that. And we have 46% of the students, and the other towns are probably 25 and 21, or 23 and 21% respectively, of the students to get to that 100%. Not doing the math exactly here. So, but it is, you know, when you take 10% of the school budget and you take it off the Poland taxpayers' burden, and you share the local debt capital improvement, which means improving buildings in Minot, Mechanic Falls, you know, additional local funds, which is things that the school board is saying they want to do over and above locally, beyond the minimum, or debt service, which is the middle school that was built because we have an RSU and we had added students. That it just means that there's more of a balance of the spread. Again, it's not gonna be, you know, equal grata, it's not 33, 33, 33. And unless the student count ever creates that, it will never be. And it's only 25% of the total school budget. But when you figure that it's gonna save us
About 1.1 million for Poland.
about 1.1 million, that is about $1.5 million
Yep.
of the tax rate. We just went up 2.9 mils, that's $1.5 million. So those are the things that we're pushing for. And we're going to need the taxpayers of Poland to come and show up, and show up at the vote. The process of that is, first of all, to get the school board to pass that is what they're bringing forth to the three towns. So we need to be lobbying, our school board members from Poland and all of the towns to say this is the fair and equitable and whatever reasons to do, so that that becomes the vote that all three towns get to do. And then that gets authorized by a vote, just like when we authorize a vote where you go to the voting booths. And, you know, I just want to stress, unlike with a school board meeting, that 67% currently, when the 5 people from Poland vote, can be 67% of the vote. So if all 5 people vote, that carries the thing from a school board perspective. But when you walk in the voting booth, it's 1 for 1 in every community. So, you know, the other 2 communities are going to see a financial hit and have to step forward. And it's going to need to be that one more vote votes in favor of that, if that's what moves forward across the 3 towns, then does not. So, so I think it's an opportunity. It's a long time coming, and hopefully that's where we get to. So I ask for the people's support in trying to get it to that point and talk to your school board members. And then secondly, gonna have to turn up at the voting booth and support it.
And, correct me if I'm wrong, but if the school board decides not to pass it, the only way to get it on the ballot is petition.
We can then form, under state statute, we can then form a petition and force it to be put onto a ballot.
On a petition like that, do you need signatures from all three towns or just a number?
I'm sorry, I don't know the answer to that question. I believe that it's a certain percent of the last gubernatorial election. I'm certain that that would be the case, but of the three towns added together to be the total thing you have to do all the signatures have to come from the three towns? I do not know the answer to that, personally. I don't know if anybody else does, but
I think it's
So
10%.
hypothetically speaking, when would the petition, where would one find petition deadlines in the event that the board didn't push it through? Like, what timelines are
I
we
would,
looking at?
again, it's in the statute on the state, I'd have to
Okay.
look it up.
Okay.
But I don't know if there'd be a timeline against it because the hypothetical that we're talking about here is that they're essentially doing nothing. So, you know, what's the timeline to them doing nothing, to us forcing them to do something?
Yeah.
In that tone and the things, I don't know. But I think that, you know, we'll answer those things if we need to
Okay.
cross that bridge. For myself, my intention is to, at the district meeting, talk to some folks. I would like to see that they pass it and bring it forth to the November elections so that we're not paying a special election and that it's in place for next school year, and have it be something that we vote when we go to our November elections. So whatever that timeline requires, that's my hope and expectation, that this should not be something that takes them a long time to determine if they're gonna bring anything forward or not, or what it is that they're gonna bring forward.
The last time I asked Amy Hediger, the superintendent, about what their next steps were for that. The finance committee was going to discuss it and review it and crunch the numbers to see, does it make a significant change? And then they were gonna bring it forward to the school board. So I haven't heard an update, saying anything, so I can follow up, or I don't know if you've heard anything.
No.
So we'll
Yeah, and
follow
I
up.
think we should be able to go to the RSU thing and see who's on that finance committee. One of the things that is a point, and it could be for any town to make this point, I don't know who the membership of that finance committee is, but it's not a balanced membership of the school board. It is just 4 or 5 people from that school board, and I have no idea, and I don't know who they are, and therefore I don't know what towns they represent. So it would be interesting to see, and again, I just think we need to be knowing that and trying to leverage the fairity of, you know, the things that are really local controlled and local decided. So,
Separate from CEDC, I don't mind being a mover and shaker. I don't want more committees on my plate, but I like to help the community move forward. So that's might be why there's an uptick in senior applications for some reason. It might have gone to multiple places for people to know about that. So let me know information, and I'm happy to share. Thank you.
we'll try to keep people informed as best we know it. I mean, again, this is school business, so it's just us inserting ourselves into the school business at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Which I
It's
think
fine.
we're all willing to do, to the fairness that we can do that.
Yeah.
So,
One reminder that might be helpful is the Homestead Act. So I know, me personally, I totally forgot about it, it didn't apply. And I've lived in the same home, we moved within Poland, but oops.
Yeah.
So that will help some people.
So definitely, what she's talking about is the homestead exemption. If you've lived in Poland more than 12 months and this is your primary homestead, make sure you have a homestead exemption on file with us. You should see it in the corner of your bill. And it should be $21,250, I believe, this year, up in the corner that is being deducted from your valuation. If you're not seeing that and you're a full-time resident here and you have been for more than a year, go to our website, go to the state website, or come in and we'll give you a homestead exemption and get it on your account for April 1st of next year. So it'll be on next year's taxes. I looked up something for Mary Ann and said, hey, do you know you don't have the homestead exemption? She's like, what? So there are people out there who do not realize they don't have it. So, and it's a phone call to us. If you can't find it on your tax bill, give a phone call to us. We can tell you over the phone whether it's on your account or not.
Helps a little, but hey.
It doesn't help much, but it helps something.
That sounds good.
If nothing else, we can take a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second.
John DeSantis.
Yes.
Stan Tetman.
Yes.
Steve Robinson.
Yes.
Mary Ann Hawks.
Yes.
Lisa Elby.
Yes.
With a vote 5-0, you have approved to adjourn the meeting. Have a good evening, everybody, and we will be
Yeah.
signing off from
It's
Zoom.
the 12th. I'll get with Alex.
Good night, everybody.